Ashtavakra Gita, chapter 2, verse 8. Light is my very nature. Indeed, I am light and none other. It is indeed I that shines when the universe manifests itself. In this verse, it's being said that the manifestation that you see in this universe is not actually the universe's manifestation. And it's the light that shines from you which manifests as this universe. Let's try to understand this. There is no light in this universe. The light is within me. The light is the self or the consciousness. We need to understand what is the light that is being mentioned in this verse. Let's start to see this from where we are. We see many things in the presence of light, correct? I am looking at the table, the laptop, the pen, and many other things. All of these are just things. And when the sage says light, he meant the source of this seeing and experiencing. And that source is consciousness. Right? So, if there is no light, there is no world. And we need to remember, light here is the self or the consciousness. We might be seeing things in this world with the light, but the sage is pointing us like, where is this light which is falling on this object also coming from? What is the source of this? What is the source of all of it? Right? It is a kind of metaphor which he's trying to say, by pointing us to the light, where we can see what is that point which is the source of all of this which is getting manifested. If there is no consciousness, then there is nothing. Even the darkness is an experience which is felt, and in the absence of consciousness, darkness is also not present. But how to accept that whatever is in front of us is not there if there is no consciousness? Right now, if I have to say that the table in front of me is not there if there is no consciousness, it is little difficult to accept it. Right? Let's experiment a bit on this. If we see this world as just the material and believe these materialistic things as true, then we are saying this world is true. And whatever we are seeing is also true. Right? When the world is true, then we see ourselves also as true. As we are part of this world. Right? When we call the world is true, we should also be real in this world. This will cause suffering. So why does this cause suffering? When we say that the world is true, I am true, we have created duality. And when there is duality, the ego always wants the other to work according to its wish. Right? When this equation gets created, then there is suffering, because the world doesn't work according to our will and wish. This duality is where the desires get created, which will not be satisfied, or though there is some satisfaction, it would not last long. The satisfaction what we would be having is very temporary, and it would not be lasting long. The result of this is suffering. And to get rid of this whole process, the sages have told that the source of joy is non-duality. The sages have told us that the self is like a point. It's not even a point, but the sages would say this because the ego wants a pointer where it can rely on. So for an ego, the sages says that the self is like a point so that the ego will not run towards the bigger and bigger things, because ego always wants to grow, to see bigger things, to consume bigger things, right? While the self is very subtle. And this pointer will make the ego to get subtler and subtler. Whatever we see in this world is very much related to us, and it is connected to our ego. That's the reason the same situation seems to be different to different people. And we would have also seen this where the same words or the same sentence would be understood differently by different people. And when there is difference in understanding, difference in experiences, then it is not the truth. When we say truth, it would be the same for all of us. That's the reason, even in the previous verse, we saw that the experience is not true. In case you have missed to listen to the same, you can find the playlist link in the description, which comprises of all the verses. This ego is the one who experiences, and ego keeps running behind different experiences, which actually means the ego runs behind the suffering. So this is the only reason the sages insist on looking within. It means to work on yourself. If you're not seeing yourself and don't have knowledge of the self, then the world will always be a trouble and it's of no use. The one who is seeing or observing needs to be truthful. We need not have to search for purity in the world. The purity needs to be within. Then the world seems very different. The sages says there is one kind of satisfaction in experiencing, and there is one kind of satisfaction in being a witness. The one who witnesses would be able to decipher the truth. We would be very much used to just experience. That is what we would have done from long time. And the world also tempts us to experience more and more. But if we need to look at the truth, we need to look at ourselves and get detached with what is not ours. The ego will trap us with worldly things when we see the truth. But we got to fight it and get closer to the truth.